everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited today to be talking about surveillance, which was the topic of this past week's seminar. So getting right into things, we had a really fantastic lecture by Dr. Frank van der Meer. And he is a virologist, so it was quite a new perspective for me to hear and learn about, and it just really furthered my understanding of how interdisciplinary this global health field really is and the importance behind that interdisciplinary collaboration. So getting right into things, the first concept that I wanted to talk about was the urgency of surveillance, and one topical issue that we talked about was Ebola. So to me, it just seems like this particular discipline or this particular subset of a field of global health seems to be the most urgent that we have studied, just given the fact that viruses and bacteria are really quick moving and have the capacity to change. So it's really crucial to be following up and following them. And the fact that virulent disease is really quickly spread among people. So finding the pinpoint of where an individual gets sick and how to actually address that illness really requires time sensitivity. So I feel like that time sensitivity is something that I always recognized, but didn't really kind of come to click with my other understandings up until this point. So surveillance and urgency was one key concept that I really found quite interesting, and was highlighted by an example pertaining to H1N1 and how people are actually reporting their illness and the validity of whether or not that data is actually accurate or captures the information that's required for epidemiological disease mitigation. So my second aha moment has to do with how unique transmission patterns are in terms of disease and ways in which viruses or bacteria or vectors can actually transmit disease. So the one example that really brought that to light in terms of the unique and kind of insidious way of disease transmission was mosquitoes in old car tires. And so how we have water pooling in these old car tires, and mosquitoes are actually capable of breeding in these moist environments and then transmitting diseases that are born from their vector, pathway. So should that be West Nile virus or Zika, with a more topical example. So I feel like within the field of surveillance, it's actually quite difficult and a lot more complicated than I thought in terms of trying to track down how diseases spread, simply because it's not simply following back a pathway of this person got this person sick and then this person got this person sick, but rather finding this diverse and really complex network of relationships between humans, vectors, and a variety of other concepts and pieces of disease transmission, and connecting them all together. And the third aha moment I wanted to talk about had to do with our little debate that we had in class regarding Canada's position as a global health leader. So I was placed on the side supporting Canada as a leader, which is one that I actually believe in as well. So I found like having that alignment was a little bit more easy for me to talk to. However, I found it quite difficult to divide ourselves into these polarized sides of pros versus cons, simply because there was this really large gray area in the middle that was kind of untouched until near the end of the debate, where people were starting to pick pieces of the other person's argument and agree with them, but then retort with particular aspects that were in the other direction. So what I mean by that is, as much as the debate was quite polarizing, the gray area between where the yes and the no can kind of come together and find a middle ground is, I think, where a lot of the really great and productive work happens in a realistic setting. So it really helps to see the other person's perspective through these types of debates, but rather that compromise angle is quite crucial to determining a way of collaborating with individuals or partners that might not see eye to eye. So one thing I just wanted to leave with is that with these debates, it's not so much a no but. So you're not saying no to the other person and then refuting with a but. but rather it's yes and. So you're considering that the other person has something that you agree with, and you're adding on to it to further the conversation. So leading with yes and with every conversation that you have in this kind of field, I think is a lot more productive and a lot more constructive, despite the fact that having these debates is quite fruitful in the type of learning that it provides. So those are all of my aha moments for this week. I really hope that you enjoyed our discussion surrounding surveillance, and tune in next week for our last personal reflection. I'm really looking forward to wrapping up all of my thoughts with these aha moments for my seminar, and I believe that these personal reflections through vlogs have been really fundamental in developing those critical thinking and speaking skills. So thanks so much, and tune in next week. Bye-bye.